Good morning and listen up, brothers. I know I have a lot of enfranchised subscribers and viewers, but what if you're new? What if you're new to Commander, new to Magic? Well, you need a series on building a Commander deck, and that's why I'm here. You see, I have esoteric, occult knowledge, and I'm willing to share it with you guys. All you have to do is like and subscribe, dude. The YouTube algorithm is a hungry, all-devouring maw. It requires sacrifice. Take one drop of blood, mail it to me, or, alternatively, check out the Discord and Patreon, dude. Alright, first things first, choosing a commander. Now this is a big game, with 2,304 legendary creatures and 21 planeswalkers that can be your commander. Now some people choose based on the art and the character itself. Some people like dwarves, some people like zombies, big beefy muscular men like old Nicky G. Some people do it for the mechanics. They work backward from a subset of cards they want to build into. Some people like equipment or mill or whatever. They look for creatures who fit that theme and work backwards from there. Some people choose their commander based on the body, dude. The body, brother. They want to stare at that hot sack of meat. And that's okay too, man. No matter how you choose, you can build a viable commander deck around it. So the first thing you need to do is decide on your colors and theme. It's 2024, man. Anything is viable. Mono white is fine. Mono red is fine, dude. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's all fine. Some colors require a bit of a larger budget or a bit more work, but you can make it happen, trust me. For beginners, I would start with a 2-color commander. The mana base is easy to assemble, cheap, and you won't get stuck without all your colors very often. Next, really dig down to the essence of your commander. This is a game with 20,000 game pieces. There are multitudes of strategies. You need to figure out what your commander wants to do and examine every aspect of it, including the creature type. And the last thing we want to do is decide if our commander is an enabler or a payoff for our strategy. Let's take landfall for example. It's pretty easy to grok, you know. Do we want a way to get more landfall, or do we want a commander that has an ability that rewards landfall? Let's take Karametra for example. Karametra, God of Harvest, 3 green and a white, legendary enchantment creature. It's a god. It's a 6/7 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to green and white is less than 7, Karametra isn't a creature. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a forest or plains card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. This is a very powerful commander. Does she have the bod though, dude? It's hard to tell under that big hat, you know? I know she's chilling on a furred serpent, dude, and that's better commander, brother. So you cast a little stupid creature, right? Guess what? When you cast it, before it resolves and enters the battlefield, you go get a forest or plains, any forest or plains, which includes some duels out there. Then the creature enters and you move on with your life, right? So is this an enabler for landfall strategies or a payoff? Well, it's an enabler. It doesn't reward playing lands or lands entering. It enables that strategy by getting more lands. So what do we consider a payoff? Kind of a classic landfall payoff is Tatyova Benthic Druid. So this is 3 green and a blue, legendary creature, Merfolk Druid. It's a 3/3 with landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Dang, dude, what a hunky fish out there. This is what I wanted the Little Mermaid to be. Who needs hair under the sea? It makes no sense. So now you let your commander guide you. Do you want more enablers or do you want more payoffs? Because your deck's going to be built around these abilities. This is a 100-card singleton format, which can be quite intimidating, but you always have access to your commander. It's the one card you can always count on in the darkness of the night. The commander is your guiding moonlight. You were by my side all along, AC. AC just got a reprint. Now this commander is both an enabler and the payoff. So the Tyrant of Gyre straight out there. So this is 4 green and a blue, legendary creature, serpent. It's a 5/5. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Fantastic, you're enabling landfall. Well, wait a second, dude. It has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you may draw a card. This is very strong. It becomes a real threat when it's out there. And that's another consideration. It's one of these unwritten rules of Commander. When you select your commander, if you say, oh, I really like Atraxa, you know, people are going to assume that this deck is going to be something it may not be. Sorry, that sounded like Kamala out there. So people are going to assume it's going to be super diesel, and you may not have the skills as a deck builder at that point to build a commander deck that's super diesel. If you pick Korvold, it's going to put a big target on your face, you know. That evaluation kind of comes with time, but don't be discouraged if that's the case. Now, some people, sometimes old Nicky G, likes to go under the radar. Some people like that hipster credibility, dude. They want to feel cool playing their commander, and they want to find that unique deck to build. going down that road sometimes puts a cap on the power of that particular commander. If it's not super popular, it's probably not brain dead easy to build, and it's probably got a ceiling on what it can do. But don't let that discourage you either, because you can definitely build a viable commander deck around it. Let's take this guy for example, Ludevic the Necro Genius. So this guy is blue and a black, legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 2/3. Whenever this guy enters or attacks, mill a card. I like that so far. Has X blue blue black black. Exile X creature cards from your graveyard. Transform it. X can't be 0. Activate only as a sorcery. Transforms into this beautiful beast, the Ludevic Hubris. This is Olag, dude. Legendary creature zombie. It's a 4/4. As this creature transforms, it becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it, except its name is Olag. It's a 4/4. It's a legendary blue and black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the number of creature cards exiled with it. So this has like 0 decks. It's pricey to get moving and transform, but you know what? This guy has tentacles. He's a bit of a freak on a leash. And in the art, he goes from a bald guy to having a beautiful mane of blonde hair, dude. He's brushing his hair. As a bald fella, I get this card, man. It speaks to me on a primal level, dude. He's brushing his beautiful hair, man. You know how many dreams I've had of doing that? So can you build this guy? Yeah, man, I built him, and it's fine. I leaned into Necrotic Ooze, Reanimator, and Graveyard Tutors to make a powered-down version of Lazav the Multifarious. And Lazav is a damn diesel stack, dude. Blue and a black, legendary creature, shapeshifter. It's a 1/3. When he enters, surveil 1. Has X, he becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X. Except its name is Lazav the Multifarious. It's a legendary in addition to its other types and has this ability. This guy is just a little too mean, man. I love this card, but it was a little too low to the ground and nasty. I mean, you can do this at instant speed. You can turn it into a damn Phyrexian Dreadnought on turn 3 or whatever. You know, I wanted to play in the same sandbox, but make a different kind of deck for casual dudes. So how do you go about finding these cards? In real life, in practical terms, you have some very powerful tools that can help you pick a commander. EDH Rec is a fine resource. You can get some suggestions from there, see what a deck might look like. But I think it's a fundamentally flawed site as a deck building resource. It kind of aggregates just the most popular cards and can serve to homogenize decks, because a lot of popular cards aren't necessarily the most synergistic. Generic value engines like Smothering Tithe, you know, they just get in a lot of decks where there's little synergy. Now your best friend is going to be Scryfall. Scryfall has every card ever. It gives you banned status if you stumble upon a banned card. You can search specific effects, go to advanced, play with it, you know what I mean, play with the settings there. I use Scryfall almost exclusively, with some perusal of EDH Rec to see if there's something I missed. A lot of folks go backwards from the way I do it, searching EDH Rec first. Alright, now you have a big pool of cards and ways to search. If you want to find a commander to build around, Moxfield is also searchable by commander. You have the ability to search budget hubs. You can select a budget-friendly commander, model your deck after that. Moxfield is also the best place to build your deck. You can goldfish it obsessively like old Nicky G and become a better deck builder. You want your deck to flow nicely. If you're just putting out lands for 3 turns, maybe you want to put in some more early drops, you know. Obviously you can't test interaction, but you can test it out to turn 7, 10, you know, whatever, make a fun deck. Now, as always, you can also get into Commander very easily by checking out precons. Pre-constructed decks are a great resource as well. You can get right into it, you know, order up one that's 25 bucks or something, there's plenty of them out there, and then modify it as time goes on. There are a bunch of precons that are pretty cheap, under 40 bucks, you know, that's not bad for a 100 card singleton commander deck. You can build your own based on the precons as well, but you may miss out on some of the money cards. Now, what are some good commanders to teach a newer player the game? How about Xenagos, God of Revels? 3 red and a green, legendary enchantment creature, God. It's a 6/5 with indestructible. As long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, this guy is not a creature. It's the first thing you can teach him right there. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste, gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. Awesome card. I mentioned Karametra, but the classic Theros gods are very good. Easy to build around. Xenagos is easy to understand. You know, big stupid creatures, let them swang on in. Pick some green fatties with evasion, lots of ramp, and you're good to go. No need to overthink it. How's about Ivy, Gleeful Spell Thief? Green and a blue, legendary creature, fairy rogue, it's 2/1 with flying. Easy to cast, 2 mana, come on. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, you may copy that spell. The copy targets Ivy. I have a very budget, though very strong aura deck that has tremendous payoffs and is actually decently strong. Ivy teaches about targets in the stack and copying permanents and spells. Ivy is just Tinkerbell, buddy. Get your lady friends into playing too. How about Miirym, or Miirym? Sentinel Worm. So this is 3 green, blue, and a red. Legendary creature, dragon spirit. It's a 6/6 with flying and ward 2. Whenever another non-token dragon you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary. Everybody loves dragons, man. It's a little smear of protection too, that ward 2, and this is a very powerful card. Miirym can also be built on a budget. Lots of cheap dragons out there. Teamer Dragons is the bomb, brother. Your new friend will feel really cool playing Copy Your Dragon all day long. You know what else you can do to choose your commander? You can reach out to a father figure, an avuncular monkey's uncle like old Nicky G. Hop in a Discord talking about commander like the one I run in the description, dude. Ask about commander. Say, hey brother, I'm a newer player and I want to run Sauron Lord of the Rings as my commander in between steroid cycles. Should I do it? Am I crazy? Yes and yes. And that's better commander, dude. We got to help out the next generation because we were there once upon a time. You forget how much you learned and how much you didn't know. Lift each other up. Nicky G, better commander, signing off.